Presented by X Insurance.
X Insurance.
From the SIG Sauer Studios. On the Patriot Mobile Platinum microphone. Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, a Tuesday. How are you today? Mark Walters filling your prescription for freedom today in the SIG Sauer Studios in front of this Patriot Mobile Communication and Command Center microphone. Of course, you know it's all being brought to you by the great X Insurance. Great company, too, by the way, xinsurance.com. Make sure to check them out. And all of our partners that make the show possible every single day, 6 days a week. And I want to thank Andy Hoosier, the voice of reason, who jumped in to guest host for me when I had some unexpected business pop up at the very last moment. Andy rescued the scene because he's just Andy. He's KQAM, Wichita's big talker. He is Wichita's favorite son, is the way I refer to him. I appreciate it, Andy Hoosier. Thank you very much, the voice of reason. Greg in Dallas, Texas, how you doing, my brother?
Not too bad, man.
Oh, it's a Tuesday, man. Marching towards the end of the week. And I know you're tired today. I am too.
Lunch hit me.
Lunch hit you. Greg ate some chicken patties on sandwiches, kind of like the
fried chicken sandwich, the spicy chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A. I make a similar one here in the operations center, and it hit me today.
I was craving a Reuben today, so I went to the bagel shop and got one. I didn't feel like making one. And, man, it was good.
Reubens are good.
They are good. I hadn't had one in a while, and I don't know why I was craving it, but I was. Greg, if you would be kind enough to tell people where they can watch us all over social media and all that fun stuff, and where to participate in the chat, we'll get going with our guest, Lee Williams. I got a lot of fun stuff to cover today.
All right, sure. If you want to watch the show, just search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters over on YouTube and Rumble. On X, it's at AAR Mark. You can also join our live chat over at your app store. Grab the Telegram messaging app, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
And Greg sticks by his guns. And you can also watch us over on Facebook at facebook.com/Armed American Radio. Every single day we're live over there, and you can participate there. Please like and share the social media posts. Social media has been growing. We appreciate it. You've been a big help, so thanks for doing that. Please continue to do so. And if you do not subscribe to the podcast, make sure to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform. We just crossed 20,100,000 downloads or something earlier today. Huge accomplishment. We couldn't do it without you. Lee the Gunwriter Williams, welcome in, my brother from another mother down in Florida. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing great. Good to be here. Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you here on a Tuesday, Lee Williams, the gun writer. So I've got a lot of fun stuff to cover with you, but before we get into the fun stuff, and some of it I hope I'm hitting you off guard with it because I really want a spontaneous reaction from you, okay? But you're so plugged in, You're probably in tune with where I'm going today. But I do have an update on the Snopes case, ladies and gentlemen. That's the Maryland Fourth Circuit assault weapon ban case. And I'm going to revise my prediction somewhat, Lee, and I want to get your commentary on that as well. If you were listening to the Monster Cast, ladies and gentlemen, on Sunday, you heard Alan Gottlieb and I talking about this. The case has been relisted again for conference coming up this Friday. It was not on the table for last Friday. Now, David Codier, when he was on the show, said we were waiting for Monday for a response. What he was referring to was whether or not we were going to see it on the conference up again this week. So it's up for conference again. Lee, this is the 8th time it's been up in this session, but it's been floating in the courts for a number of years. We desperately want the Supreme Court to take this case and put an end to gun bans once and for all, and we feel pretty confident about it. But Lee, here's been my rationale, and I made this clear with Alan and with listeners many times. The longer this drags on in conference, the more confident I become that the court is going to take the case. Why do I say that? Well, they've had ample opportunity to deny cert, Lee, multiple times. Would you agree with that?
100%. This is good news. If it was something they didn't care about, it would have made the list a couple of times and then gone away. Okay, this is something that they want to pursue, but, they've had other stuff that they felt they needed to pursue sooner. The fact that we've seen it how many times? 4, 5, 6?
8.
Means that it's a hell of a case when we're going to get a resolution to it.
I hope you're right. And I've been better than 90% confidence. I want to put a percentage on it now, but my 90% confidence in this right now, Lee, I'm going to drop it down to 75%. And I'll tell you why. I had a conversation with Mr. Gottlieb about this just yesterday, about this very issue when this came up. I chatted with him when I found out, and when he let me know that it was coming up for conference. We talked at great length about this. And he began showing a little bit of concern, too. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to sit here and put words in Alan's mouth. He will tell you about it on Sunday because the conference will occur again on Friday. And as always, we just don't know what the court, Lee, is doing. We have no idea what they're doing when they're in conference. And we don't know why they do what they do. But after speaking to some legal scholars who know the history of the court, this is beginning to look like it's being pushed out. And some of these scholars, who I do not know who they are, they were unnamed to me, it doesn't matter, I trust my source, of course, are beginning to be concerned about the fact that it looks like this might be leaning to a denial with a dissent as this continues to drag out. Now, it was also told to me it could be a dissent the other way, okay? It could be granted cert with the dissent from one of the other justices, but it almost looks at this point like that is a direction. There is history in the court for that as these cases continue to drag through conference. Now, I am praying to God that that's not true, because you know what will happen. The anti-gunners, Lee, will jump for joy that the Supreme Court upheld assault weapons bans when they did no such thing. They simply, for whatever reason we will never know, decided not to take this particular case. And it could be anything from a docket being full issue to a justice they don't trust to give them the decision they want, which we've discussed before. Lee, it could be anything. But because of what I heard, I hate to say this, but as I put more thought to this and heard from Alan and talked to others, yeah, my confidence level has dropped a little bit, but I still have a high confidence level at 75%. But it's not as high as it was last week, Lee. I'm concerned at this point, more so than I was before.
Well, keep in mind that my confidence level with the Supreme Court is extremely low.
Yeah, there's a low bar there.
There's no way they would take this case if it wasn't going to pass. I mean, trust me on that. Okay?
That's true. The question is it going to get out of conference? Okay. Now, here we are 8 times and seen no action. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am still, again, leaning that this thing is going to be heard. I still believe in the deepest recesses of my body. I absolutely believe that they're going to take this. I do. Not 100% now. I'm a little bit trepidatious now because of what I heard and who we were speaking to. However, I still feel really good about this case. It's better than 80% chance as far as I'm concerned at this point. If they take it, we win it, Lee. It's that simple. I'm on record as saying
without a doubt.
Without a doubt, we win this case. But as this drags out, those who know more about the court than I do, the history behind it, that this could be why this is dragging out. And that's something, guys, that we haven't talked about on the show before. And when I hear that come from Mr. Gottlieb, and we'll talk with him. I'll question him about that on Sunday's broadcast as well. But it does concern me, Lee. It does. So I want to leave it at that. Still leaning towards them taking it, far more than not. Again, they've had ample opportunity. They could have denied this with a dissent months ago. Why now?
We wouldn't even remember the case if they were going to do that.
Well, but you believe, like I do, that if the case is granted cert, we win this hands down.
Without a doubt, yeah.
Is there anything in your body, any fiber in your being at all, that might feel differently with some of the news out about Barrett recently? That, is she as trustworthy as we thought on some of these issues?
No, I want to say no. I'm not going to go down there. I think this thing is going to go, and it's going to be our case, and we're going to win it.
All right.
There's no other way around it.
Yeah, again,
I don't want to get distracted by, I mean, this is a good case.
Oh, the case is great. Like I said, if they grant cert, we win this case. I believe that hands down. My confidence is still high that they take it. It's just not as high as it was Friday when I heard that what some of the scholars were thinking in this particular case. But you know what, dude? It's like this. Opinions are like what? We all got them. I mentioned that to Alan on Sunday night.
Yep.
We've all got our opinion. And believe me, I know of attorneys in my own sphere right now who have been way wrong multiple times to a point that I've laughed at them. So you just don't know. We want this case heard. We want this granted cert because of the fact that we're at 99+% that we win this hands down if, in fact, it is granted. Now, we are going to know, again, ladies and gentlemen, because it is on the docket for conference, or I should say this, it's up for conference review again on Friday. So we will know likely Monday morning at 9:30. We're going to be sitting there refreshing our screens and waiting to see, and hopefully it is granted cert. Now, if you pay any attention to this over at SCOTUS blog or Supreme Court website at supremecourt.gov, whatever it is, scotus.gov, if you pay attention to this, you'll notice that of all the cases listed on the dockets after conferences, there's only 1 or 2 cases that are granted cert at any given time, maybe 3. They take a very small percentage of cases, but this one is ripe for the pickings, and if they take it, we win it, hands down. High level of confidence back. 3 more segments with Lee. Lots of fun stuff to talk with you about. Cameras are up.
The following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, welcome back. If you're watching on your screens, this is a Patriot Mobile phone. You can have one too. And you don't need to get a new phone, I guess, unless you want to. PatriotMobile.com will port your number over. Do it quickly like they did mine. Use the AAR promo code and get 30 days free from Patriot Mobile. Great company that supports you, your lifestyle, and your gun rights. Make sure to check them out at PatriotMobile.com, PatriotMobile.com/AAR. We got a beautiful page over there, PatriotMobile.com. And support a business that supports you. It's just the way it is nowadays, guys. Those other companies out there might be saying, we're not woke anymore. Don't believe them. Believe them as much as you believe the mainstream media. They're all lying to you. They've been gaslighting you for years. If you can walk away from them and do so with great service like this, do so. We did it here at the ranch. Are still in the process of it, quite frankly. It'll take about the rest of this year for us to get all the phones over, but that's because I don't want to make a big jump and spend a whole bunch of money on doing it, because I just bought the phones recently. So I flipped one of mine over and boom, that's how it works. You can do the same thing. PatriotMobile.com. Welcome back inside SIG Sauer Studios. Patriot Mobile microphone. All brought to you by X Insurance. All of our partners are visible at ArmedAmericanRadio.com. Lee the Gunwriter Williams, let's keep going. Did you want to put an exclamation point on that Snopes case? You want me to move on here because I'm ready to roll?
Well, I just spent the whole break, analyzing it and thinking, oh my God, do I have this wrong? No, I think we're right. No, I think we're right. I think what we predicted will happen. Yeah. Otherwise, it wouldn't keep the damn thing around.
I don't, again, I'm tamping my optimism down somewhat. So my meter has dropped just a tad bit. But that's okay. It's still in the very high category. Again, my firm belief is, I really, truly believe that if they wanted to dust this case, they've had ample time to do it. But we shall see. You know how opinions are. All right, let's move on. HHS now. And this is fun. I was on 97.1 FM this morning, 2A Tuesday on the Mark Cox in the Morning Show, 97.1 FM up there. We love those guys, Mark and Heidi and Kim St. Aj and the interns. They're all great people up there. And part of the conversation today was the HHS today, removing the gun violence webpage advisory. Lee, you familiar with this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. See, I knew you. I'm not going to be able to pull anything over on you on this. Did we talk about any of this today before your call?
None whatsoever.
Lee is plugged in, and that's fun. That's what makes it fun with you on the show. But the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, otherwise known as HHS, has removed its gun violence advisory webpage. And that was a White House official told The Guardian, we love The Guardian, right? Yeah. That the removal aligns with President Donald Trump's executive order to safeguard the Second Amendment. The Firearm Violence in America webpage included data on the traumatic effects of shootings, gun-related suicides, and the number of children and teens killed in such incidents. The link now displays, Lee, a page not found error. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services removed the page that was put up under U.S. Surgeon General, DEI hire himself, none other than former Surgeon General Vivek Murthy, which was, he claimed, put up as a for gun violence as a public health issue. Lee, the Democrats have been trying to frame criminals and murderers killing each other in American Democrat-run cities as a public health issue. Has it ever been?
No, and that's just absolutely crazy. It's a bad guy with a gun.
Lee, come back to us. Did we drop you there? All right, we'll give him a second to come back. Lee, do we have you?
He's still on the line.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. You said no, it's a crime issue. Go ahead.
It's a crime issue. Of course it's not. It's just a bad guy with a gun. It's not the gun's fault, but that's how they want to continue to portray it. Oh, it's the gun's fault. Well, no, it's the bad man. It's the bad man with a gun. I get so I can't say the word.
No,
I get so upset. Yeah, I get so upset when I hear about these things. It's just so stupid. They want to take the responsibility away from the guy who's actually doing the killing and move it into everybody else. It makes me crazy. No, it's good.
Yeah, and by calling it a public health issue, guys, this is how they add more gun control. Okay? This is why you go all the way back to Obama days. This is why we hated Obamacare. It's why we fought against it, because we knew what they were trying to do. frame your firearms rights as a threat to public health. Oh, and we were
100%.
concerned. Yeah, we were concerned about them denying health care coverage to you if you were a gun owner. We all know, and many of us, myself included, I ran them, and this is a long time ago, but about, I don't know, 18, 17 years ago, talking with a new pediatrician for my kids, right? Going back to those days. Do you own any guns? I said, it's none of your freaking business. Packed up, walked out, and got a new doctor. It's that simple. But this is what they're all trying to do. They're all left-wing outlets. American Pediatric Society, Journal of American Medical Association, JAMA, all this nonsense. Now, I was looking at this on Straight Arrow News, and I got to hand it to Straight Arrow News. They just reported it, which is kind of refreshing nowadays. They had a couple links in there. Yeah, it is. They had a couple links in there, but here's where you get the leftist stuff. Okay. One of the links took you over to ABC News, and ABC News has this really nice picture of Vivek Murthy. And the department, now ABC is not going to be unbiased. They can't help themselves. It's who and what they are. Department of HHS appears to have taken down a webpage from the Oval Office, Surgeon General, that included an advisory on gun violence. And then they go on firearm violence is an urgent public health crisis that has led to loss of life, unimaginable pain, and profound grief for far too many Americans. That was a quote from Murthy. And then in a press release, they went further on to the page not being found. We're sorry, but there is no HHS Gov page. The White House didn't reply to ABC, which is a smart thing. Basically, screw ABC. We're not going to get the facts from them, and they know it. So they went on to talk about the health aspects of this and give you left-wing skew here, Lee. Again, coming from ABC News, and they're blaming this now that HHS said that the department and the Office of the Surgeon General are complying with President Trump's executive order on protecting Second Amendment rights. That came from the department at HHS. Talking about the executive order, the deadline with Bondi has come and gone. I've not seen anything on it, and believe me, we've been refreshing screens. Could this be a part of that?
No, I think they're two separate issues. The issue with Bondi, her deadline was to get the stuff to Trump. Wasn't anything in there about making it public. Okay, that's going to be up to Trump to do. Hopefully, I'm thinking.
That's a great point.
Think about it.
No, that's a great point. We hadn't approached it that way.
She needed to get that stuff to him. Hopefully, she's turned everything in, and everything's going to be fine, right? Yeah.
Okay. We don't. It would be nice to know if it has been turned in. It would be nice to see Carolyn Leavitt stand up at the podium and tell us it's been turned in. It would be nice to get a post from Trump on Truth Social that it's been turned in, because we're watching this very, very carefully. Now, I did not approach it the way you did, that Bondi wouldn't, and it wouldn't be Bondi that makes it public, likely. It would come from the White House. So we're hopeful that that happens. When we get the information, what is going to happen with it? What's the process? These are the things we want to know, okay? If we know that it's going to take, hey, we got this information, we'll have blank for you in 2 weeks, this was the time frame for them to get the information, not to have done anything with it. We have to separate the two. When we come back, we'll wrap up on that. Then we're going to move to a piece on David Kodria wrote on a decision by a judge not to recuse herself. And then we're going to just rip the New York Times to shreds because, well, New York Times. We'll be right back with Lee the Gunwriter Williams.
Daniel Defense firearms are guaranteed for life, trusted worldwide, and designed, engineered, and manufactured right here in America. Daniel Defense, freedom, passion, precision.
Yeah, Daniel Defense is freedom, passion, and precision, ladies and gentlemen. I remind you every day to get on the Daniel Defense email list and see all the very cool stuff over there. If you don't follow Daniel Defense on social media, that's a mistake. You should be, because they post up super high-quality stuff of one-of-a-kind stuff that they've got going on over there. Absolutely beautiful photography, super high quality, super high definition. Daniel Defense stock. That's pretty much what they are anyways. Super high quality, super high definition, everything they do. But make sure to check out the H9 pistol at Daniel Defense, their newest, their only addition to the pistol line, which I'm pretty certain will grow down the road. But nonetheless, the H9 pistol by Daniel Defense, you want to check that out. The easy way to do all that is to just get on their email list over there. Trust me when I tell you, it's one of those emails you're going to want to get and just kind of sit back. You'll wait for the end of the day before you go to sink your teeth into the thing. It's that cool. DanielDefense.com. Make sure to check them out. All of our partners out, all of them. You can find them all at ArmedAmericanRadio.com. Let's continue with Lee, the gunwriter Williams. Lee, I know you want to get to your piece. So before I go to the New York Times, which is I can't wait to have this conversation with you. And David Codria's piece, if we have time. You want to get to your piece that you just put up, so let's go there. Take it away. The mic is yours.
Thank you, brother. Well, we call on President Trump to pardon the sailor jailed by the Biden administration for 20 years who did absolutely nothing wrong, Patrick Tate Adamiak. He deserves a presidential pardon, release from prison, and reinstatement. He's been in about 2 years of his 20-year sentence. Brother, I'm just going to point it out. He was selected for the SEAL program. He was going to go in as an officer.
Yeah.
Now, he was an E6 in the Navy. I mean, you know how rare those appointments are? He also had a gun website where he only sold parts. He did not sell any specific, no real guns.
Right.
And, man, ATF got a really bad CI, confidential informant. They went over, they took him down. And then they find nothing illegal. Nothing illegal. So they created illegal stuff. They took a toy Sten, they put a real Sten submachine gun barrel and an action.
Let's make it illegal because it's not illegal. Let's just make it illegal.
He had, I've never been able to afford one of these. He had several semi-autos that fire from an open bolt.
Yeah.
Right now they're like $5,000. They're very legal, very collectible. All he could get out was semi-automatic fire. Of course, he calls them machine guns. Yeah. He had receivers that have been cut in half that they were called machine guns. And I'm talking about, of course, about the idiot who basically ruined this young man's life, Firearms Enforcement Officer Jeffrey Bodell with the ATF. My favorite screw-up was he bought a couple of old RPGs they had holes drilled in the receivers, they had stripped of internal parts. He bought them at a county fair, and they considered them destructive devices. They put all the parts back in.
All legal.
Yeah, illegal. Yeah, no, they were illegal because they got them to fire a subcaliber round. I think that a presidential pardon is called for. Trump went through and pardoned 1,500 dudes for the
J6.
J6 thing. He pardoned Rod Blagojevich, Ross Ulbricht, the Dread Pirate Roberts. I mean, this kid did nothing wrong, and he needs to be pardoned.
I don't disagree.
Talked to him briefly when he was in jail yesterday. In prison in New Jersey. Oof. And he said, I'm just going to read the quote, then I'm done. I did nothing wrong. I would never have been arrested if Trump was in office. I want a pardon because I want my rights back. I truly want to serve my country again, which I can't do as a convicted felon. And he was rereading 2,800 pages of transcripts yesterday.
The guy's in a 5x9 cell.
Yeah.
Rotting in a penitentiary. What is he, 2 years into a 20-year sentence now? Got 18 years to go, something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I feel good about him. I feel good about something happening to this case. I don't know. I think the more attention that is brought to this, and if the gun rights community and the organizations at state level get together and pressure the DOJ and pressure Trump, I think we might see something on this because this is ripe for a Trump pardon. Something like this is ripe for a pardon. Particularly when you've got an ATF, that is so rogue, so unconstitutional, and filled with so many scumbags and dirtbags, okay, many of whom should be replaced in jail by where this guy is, by ATF losers who are lying, cheating, and stealing to get convictions from people who have broken no laws when what they bought was lawful to buy. Then the ATF goes in and says, well, just make it illegal. We'll fix it up for it. Oh, see, we did this to it. We got it to fire one round. Nope, arrest him. Throw him in slammer for 20 years of his life. How old is he?
Right now he's 31. He was 28 when he went in. And, I mean, he'll come out at 48, and his life will be over. It makes me absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Every minute of the day that you and I are out enjoying our lives, he's sitting there in prison.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have this weird feeling. I have the same feeling that I had about the bodega owner in New York, even though he was charged for stabbing the guy who was trying to kill him behind the counter over a bag of chips. I just had a gut feeling that wasn't going to fly, that the people weren't going to let that fly. I'm not sure enough people know about this kid yet, but when they do, I think we might see something with this. Again, that's just a gut feeling. Really just a gut feeling. But you're doing amazing work, particularly on ATF, man. Watch your back, dude, okay? Good heavens, you know. You got a bunch of hateful...
Thanks, man. I need to get that story out there.
And I'm glad you do. And ladies and gentlemen, you can read everything Lee writes over at Second Amendment Foundation at thegunwriter.substack.com, and of course at our site that we share together, armedamericannews.org or .com. Take your pick. And when you see these stories from Lee, get them out there on your social media accounts. Spread the word. Send it to the leaders of the organizations that you're a member of. All right? Armed American Radio talks about this stuff all the time, but we need more than just this show. More than just this show. We've got a lot of people that listen across the country 6 days a week, but we need more than this. Okay? Some of this needs to get somehow some mainstream media attention. Even if the mainstream media lies about it, we all know they're lying about it. We need to get some attention put on this. Fox News, have they covered it? Fox should be covering this all the time. This is ripe for them.
No, they haven't yet. They're in the middle of an election, bro. Oh, I'm sorry. The election's over. They're just kind of screwing around.
Okay, we'll let that one stand because you're right about that. But nonetheless, this would be a great story for Fox. I can see guys like our friend Todd Pyro over there covering this. I can see Gutfeld covering this. I can see Waters covering this. I can see Hannity covering this. He's a pro 2A guy. And I'll reach out to him because I know him. So let me do that. But regardless, good heavens, man. If you're aware of the story, and you are now if you're listening to the show, get it out there, put it on social media, and get some traction on this. All right, Lee, I'm going to run now over to the New York Times, and because this piece is just unbelievable. We're not going to have enough time to get to Codria's piece and my comments on Schumer on The View. We'll do that tomorrow. It's pretty much evergreen stuff. Yeah, right. I mean, the liberals are all after Schumer now. It's so great. Drudge has a headline up yesterday with a picture of AOC. New Dem leader? I was beside myself. Oh, please, yes. Please. Let her primary Schumer. Let that be the face of the future Democrat Party. Please. I mean, are they that stupid? Well, the easy answer to that is 3 letters. As Joe Biden would say, the simple response is 2 words. Yes. All right. The New York Times yesterday, to make guns less dangerous, one group teaches young people how to use them. What do you think when you hear that headline? Let's talk about the headline before we go to a break, and we'll dissect it in the next segment. 30 seconds.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous because it's New York Times. Any other newspaper, and I would be able to tell you what's coming. Times, not so much.
Yeah, the subhead on this is interesting. It kind of gives away where they're going. An organization in Chicago is trying to apply a strategy used for fighting drug addiction to reduce gun violence. Here's what I want to leave you with this as we go to the break. Think injection sites for heroin addicts. Somehow, the Times is making this stretch. But wait till you hear what's involved here. We'll be back. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense from the SIG Sauer Studios. Mark Walters on the Patriot Mobile mic. It's all brought to you by X Insurance. We'll be right back.
This segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Daniel Defense. Visit DanielDefense.com. Now, back to the show.
Yeah, also, Daniel Defense, I just mentioned them. Great company. Don't forget the rest of our partners that you can find over at armedamericanradio.com or .org. Take your pick. We got them both covered for you. And over there, you'll find heavensharvest.com for your emergency food supplies and those 15-minute heat in the bags. If you're doing any outdoor activities in the summer, they're great for boats, camping, all that great stuff. We've eaten them here. They're fantastic. They taste like home-cooked meals, and they work as advertised. No water source necessary. It all chemical stuff goes in the bag, these little packets, and boom, that thing is heat. You got a hot meal in less than 15 minutes, quite honestly. Very cool stuff. Heavensharvest.com. Don't forget barrelbuddy.com, barrelbuddy.com. And North American Arms has a great page up on pickup on social media right now with their green Huntsman revolver. Now, you see, if you're watching the show, I'll hold mine up. I keep it here when I'm on air. But there it is right there, and you can see it. It's gorgeous. North American Arms with the walnut grips. Beautiful in this woven leather holster. I carry these with me everywhere I go, every day, regardless of what else I have. And today I also have a SIG P365 Macro XL on my hip. And this goes on my belt, right in the front position. Absolutely gorgeous. It's the gun you can carry when you can't carry a gun. Make sure to check them out. NorthAmericanArms.com. We've got your holsters covered at Crossbreed Holsters, and we got your cleaning supplies covered at BarrelBuddy.com. And pain relief, Patriots relief, all that great stuff is there at ArmedAmericanRadio.com. Please support them. They make this show possible every single day, and we appreciate them all and love them all. Lee the Gunwriter Williams, welcome back. New York Times. So let's continue on this. To make guns less dangerous, one group teaches young people how to use them. An organization in Chicago is trying to apply a strategy used for fighting drug addiction to reduce gun violence. As we were going into the break, I mentioned think injection sites for heroin addicts. Now, I guess if you live in Oregon, heroin's legal, right? But anywhere else in the country, it's a Schedule I narcotic. But each year, according to this Shyla Dewin over at New York Times, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right and don't really care. Each year, the Chicago Police Department seizes about 10,000 illegal guns and arrests thousands of people for illegal gun possession. Yet guns remain plentiful and easy to acquire, and young people who live in dangerous neighborhoods say they feel unsafe without them. How do you dissect that? Young people who live in dangerous neighborhoods say they feel unsafe without them. I can kind of understand that, because John Lott's been on the program before talking about criminals need to carry guns because of the nature of their business, right? So there's that aspect.
100%. 100%.
I wondered, are they talking about criminals? Now, as you dig deeper into this, it's really hard to tell. Now, one group is trying a different tactic, telling those youths, to use my cousin Vinny, keep your guns if you must, but learn how to handle them safely. Did I just read that correctly? 95% of the murders in Chicago are all gang violence related. Keep your guns if you must, but learn how to handle them safely. What do you take from that?
I'm surprised this is not April 1st because it's some type of April Fool's joke. Well, okay. So yeah, perfectly. That's great. They're still going to get arrested for them. They're still illegal. The guns are probably stolen.
Yeah.
The young men probably have some felonies. I'm blown away that they actually said that, because that could lead to actual gun training.
Yeah.
I know Chicago and Illinois gun laws aren't as bad as they used to be, right?
Yeah, there's so much in this. We could cover this over a 2-day period. The approach they're talking about at the Times, or this group in Chicago, is called Stick Talk. A Chicago collective has taken to teaching small groups of teenagers and young adults skills like first aid for gunshot wounds and how to avoid accidental discharges. Now, on its surface, I would not normally have a problem with that. As I mentioned on 97.1 FM this morning, Lee, I believe every elementary kid should be learning about firearm safety in classes when they're kids, right?
Without a doubt. It would save so many lives.
Yeah, and I'm wrestling with this because I know kind of where the New York Times is going with this. And while it sounds good on the surface, I understand by some of the nuance that that's not what they're talking about here. All right. according to them, the approach uses the philosophy of harm reduction, better known in the arenas of drug addiction and public health. Here comes that rears its head again. Harm reduction aims to be practical and non-judgmental, offering help without insisting on abstinence. For example, giving clean needles to heroin users or condoms to teenagers. Yeah. Now, are they talking about arming criminals when we know, or teaching criminals actual real gun safety that you or I would teach our kids and have taught my kids? Owning a gun, remember, ladies and gentlemen, in Chicago is illegal for people under 21. Hence why I guess they're making the analogy with the needles for heroin addicts, because heroin is against the law. Well, let's just give them needles and maybe they'll be safer with it because we're not going to stop them. So let's let the gangbangers have their guns, and while we're at it, let's teach them how to be safe with those guns.
Brother, I you know, this.
We talked about this yesterday.
First of all, I need to know more. I need to know if this works. I need to know if this has saved any lives.
We're never going to know the answer to that question. And look, I know, Greg, you and Andy talked about this briefly yesterday, but I don't. To me, as I read this, they keep going back to the drug issue. It does teach them how to carry, clean, and store a gun, and how to comport oneself during a police stop. Are they teaching them what to do if they're under 21? Because remember, they said teens and young adults who shouldn't have a gun, how to comport oneself during a police stop? What does that mean?
That's probably a given. That's probably a yes to that. Knowing Chicago the way I do.
Yeah, I don't think they're teaching. I don't think we're talking about Eddie Eagle here.
Yeah.
All right, stop, don't touch, leave the area, tell an adult. If they know you're carrying a firearm illegally, and they're teaching you how to handle yourself during a traffic stop with a gun that you shouldn't have on you. But see, now here's where the group goes. And there's this weird part of me that understands this. We understand they're going to carry guns, but we want to impress upon them to be thinking all the time, just because you got a gun doesn't mean you can just shoot people. So let's not teach them not to carry guns. Let's not teach them to lead a different lifestyle. Let's tell them, we know you're going to be a criminal, but you don't have to be. We know you're going to carry. Let's not teach them the right way. Let's just admit defeat, that they're going the wrong way, and let's just try to help them be safe while they're criminally. Lee, 20 seconds, take it away. I don't, whatever. I'll leave it up to you, listeners.
I need to know more, but quite frankly, I'm intrigued, and I might have to take a look at this for a column. This is interesting. It's a completely new way of thinking.
It is interesting, and I'm going to be open.
It's illegal.
Well, I'm going to be open-minded about it until I, like you, get some more dope on this thing. AWR Hawkins, I know, is going to be writing about this later today, if he hasn't already. He and I talked about it briefly this morning. Lee the Gunwriter Williams, real quick, tell people where they can find you. 10 seconds, bro.
They can go to thegunwriter.substack.com. They can go to armedamericannews.org or saf.org.
And there you'll find real investigative journalism, ladies and gentlemen. Lee the Gunwriter Williams, thank you for being here. We love you like a brother. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is going to get up and do it again tomorrow because it's garbage day at the ranch and they don't want us to. So until we meet on the radio, stay safe. And I'll see you on the radio tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific.
You've just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters, presented by X Insurance. X Insurance on the Armed American Radio Network.
All right, guys, thanks for jumping in here with us today. We appreciate it very much. Armed American Radio is going to get up and do it again mañana because they don't want us talking about that stuff. We've got a lot to cover this week. There's a lot of stuff going on out there, and there was a couple stories that I wanted to hit today that we didn't get to, but as I mentioned, they're kind of evergreen. We'll get to them. One was a piece up by David Codria on a rogue judge. Wait till you hear this. Good Lord. But if you don't want to wait, you can just visit David Codria's site, waronguns.com, the clearinghouse. You can look him up on AmmoLand where you'll find the piece. It's just brilliantly written, as everything he touches is. And we've got some more stuff. I wanted to talk about Schumer, but I'm sure Schumer and the Dems will give us more and make what I wanted to talk about today old news by tomorrow, because it will definitely be yesterday's news. So enjoy your days. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Carry on, carry often, carry absolutely everywhere. Never, ever, ever leave your cave without your club. No self-respecting caveman would have ever been caught outside his cave without his club. Enjoy your day. We'll see each and every one of you on the radio tomorrow.